After more than a year's delay, the Tokyo Olympic Games have officially kicked off. The opening ceremony looked very different this year, with no fans allowed into the stadium due to the coronavirus pandemic. For more, let's head to Tokyo, where our reporter Paul Ryding is on the ground. Paul, you're in Tokyo covering the Games, and you've actually been allowed into the stadium. What's the opening ceremony been like? What's the atmosphere?
Yeah, we were inside the stadium. You know, it was an opening ceremony like any other I've been to over the last few years. Emotive and heartfelt, and you know, positive, basically positive in demeanor. But there was also, you know, it was they kept it low key. I think they got it just right. They kept it low key. There wasn't too much rah rah dancing, pom pom waving. You know, it was relatively restrained, with just a couple of bursts of excitement in dance routines, and there was a nice touch during the ceremony where they had a moment's silence for people who had died from COVID, and yeah, that was really nicely observed. So yeah, I think they got the tone just right.
It sounds like the organisers have really struck a balance there, but what was it like, I guess, being in a massive stadium with no crowds because of coronavirus?
It was bizarre, right? This is a 60,000 capacity stadium. It's supposed to be that many spectators in here enjoying the opening ceremony. It was strange to look around and find that there was just a handful, well, almost 1,000, I suppose, in the end. Members of the media in attendance. It was a pity, but you know, it was a nice ceremony. There were some good performances. It was easy to, with the loud music and the lights, it was easy to forget that, you know, it wasn't a busy stadium, it wasn't a bustling full stadium.
Japan is still a nation that's really torn whether or not these games should be going ahead, and I understand that there's actually protests that are taking place outside of the stadium at the moment.
Yeah, it was quite vociferous. It kicked off, we entered the stadium about 2 hours before, and there was no sign of any kind of protest. But then, just as my colleague and I, Jonathan, were making our way from the press room here in the basement of the stadium up to where we were taking a seat, we heard something over the wall, and when we looked, it was a really sizable crowd out there, making quite a din. A few people with megaphones. It wasn't violent, they weren't being held back as such, but there was definitely a police cordon stopping them from getting any closer to the stadium. And yeah, you know, for a moment it was a bit of an odd atmosphere. Just, I wouldn't say it was ever we were ever in danger or anything like that, but it was just for a moment a sobering reminder that, you know, a lot of people here in Japan, they are opposed to the games. They don't want it. The games here, they don't want us here, basically. And yeah, it was a bit of a reminder of that.
And what has it been like for you as a reporter going to the Games? What has the whole experience been like for you so far, even just from landing and getting to the stadium where you are now?
Sure. In a word, difficult. We'd spent a long time at the airport. It took us, understandably, of course, I'm not complaining, but it took us a long time to go through the requisite testing and plenty of forms to be filled out, and you know, we had to wait to get clearance, so it was a little frustrating, can I say, at the airport. But it was the same for all the reporters. You know, we all knew what we were getting into coming out here. We knew it was going to be like that, and yeah, it was just kind of a feeling of waiting for the games to start. You know, the anticipation of the action actually getting underway. I'm sure everyone was feeling the same. And today, yeah, we're now looking ahead to the action getting underway in earnest tomorrow. Yeah, and you know, we really feel like it's kicked off now, I think.
There have been some events that have already taken place. We've had one Hong Kong athlete compete. How have they gone, and who are our biggest, I guess, medal contenders from Hong Kong? Yeah,
preliminary events got going earlier in the week, actually, with softball, baseball, and football. But today was the first Hong Kong involvement in the Games. Winnie Hung in the sculls, singles, rowing. She was never realistically, she was never expected to get too far. She did well to even make it to the Games, but she finished 4th out of 5 in her race. She will be in with a repechage chance to proceed tomorrow. But first thing tomorrow morning, it really starts for us. One of our big medal hopes, Vivian Kongman, she starts her campaign in the women's épée. And she's a big medal hope. She's ranked 8, and she's seeded 8. She was #1 in the world as recently as the end of 2019. She's one of the athletes here in Tokyo that the Hong Kong delegation has really earmarked as a good medal chance. And she gets going tomorrow morning, as well as another couple of Hong Kong's fencers. So yeah, tomorrow's the day when it really starts.
Well, it sounds very exciting. We've got a number of days, a couple of weeks ahead of us of amazing sport. So I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks.